What's going on, Gemini? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a phenomenal week so far. So for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Gemini. And it keeps us going. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Because it's General Energy Weekly Spread. I'm not sure what that was. Wasn't that Vogue? Whatever, Gemini. But with this weekly spread, whenever you happen to come across this video, there may be some messages in here for you. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Gemini. So I'm going to pull a few oracle cards from this deck here, and then we will get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies, people, as they make sense for your situations, okay? And in case if y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below some links for some other readers that are like watching Gemini, so definitely check them out. Very intuitive group, I think you'd enjoy them. But let's get to your first card here. Ooh, Gemini, looks like we got some stuff we're going to be learning here soon. Because you got the 8th card of Capricorns, which is the library card. And with this card, this is a card of knowledge, learning, history, information, research, books, pastime, archives, hidden, documents, search, secrets, looking beneath the surface, author, reading, and writing. And the energy that's coming through here, Gemini, is the learning energy, and I like that for all the signs. But I feel like that's something really important. I feel like for your sign as well. I feel like Gemini energy is one that is very curious, and you're just naturally smart. You know, very witty, very much wanting to learn all the details of things. And I feel that in order to keep that mind sharp, it's not. And I don't feel like it's just like we're learning stuff just to pick up things, Gemini. I feel like it's one of those things. It's learning things that we're going to actually turn into wisdom long term. And I feel like that's, you know, because maybe for some we've been just kind of, you know, Mercury retrograde's been a little wonky, you know, it's been kind of a tough retrograde, just because we're in a very retrograde heavy season right now. But I do feel like maybe for some it's just like we've been maybe just been kind of learning things maybe at kind of random, just been sort of like picking up stuff with no sort of like rhyme or reason there. But then it's just like, just kind of like a master of none is what I'm kind of getting, you know, jack of all trades in a sense. But it's just like now maybe there's a need to have a little more focus in what we may be applying that intelligent energy for, because it really is, I feel like Gemini energy is one where if it's, once it really gets fixed on something, really is really fascinated by something, that it's can have this almost like voracious type of appetite there for when it comes to knowing these things. I have my moon's in Gemini, and I'll tell you what, especially, you know, once I really started getting into tarot and astrology and things along those lines, I mean, I'm just hungry. And I feel like maybe for some others that there is maybe this need to find that thing that keeps you mentally stimulated, because I feel like that, and that can support that appetite, because there's this, I do feel like Gemini energy is one that does needs that, if there's not that sort of intellectual stimulation, whether this be the stuff that we may be looking into, or maybe even the people that we're keeping around. And listen, I'm not saying that we're not looking at others that they're, you know, less than, or that you're smarter than them, Gemini, or anything along those lines. But it's more so maybe surrounding yourselves with people that can, I don't know, just kind of like I feel like keep you engaged in things along those lines, and kind of maybe paying attention to if we've, and it's not like, again, that's not like we're cutting people off, you know, per se, but I just feel like it's more so just like if we're around people who aren't pushing themselves, then I feel like that you are the company that you keep around, and eventually that does sort of stagnate your energy. Just for an example, then we're going to get some tarot. I was talking with this little group not too long ago, and they were almost, the both of them were kind of talking about having this energy of almost like of just a stagnancy. It's just sort of like, it's like Groundhog Day, sort of the same old thing. And they were talking about that, kind of relating to that, and they kind of looked at me, and I was just like, oh, well, that sounds to me like that's the universe saying that it's time to switch some things up there. But sometimes, people can get kind of caught in that rut, and maybe that's something too, Gemini. Maybe if we find ourselves in this group and it's, I don't know, it's like we want to get them revitalized or something along those lines. Maybe there's, let's get some energy on this, Gemini, and get some details. Thank you. All right, Gemini, let's see what's going on here. Oh. All right, Gemini, so you have small little reversal storm here. Oh, no, not really, but a little bit. But you have the Ten of Pentacles and the Five of Wands, and then you have the Four of Swords, the Nine of Cups, and then the Sun in reverse here. And let's talk about the Sun for a second, because I feel like that. I want to say the Sun kind of popped up for you in reverse last time here, Gemini, if I'm not mistaken, but I feel that I'm almost kind of getting this energy of that maybe for some it's like we've been almost, our shine has been diminished a little bit, or that there's this dullness. Maybe that's kind of, whether this has just been how we've been feeling as of late, or it's just like I just feel like that I feel like we're not attracting the things that we want to do. It's like maybe we have this thing of like, man, I wish I could learn another language, or that I could do this stuff. But there's this anxious energy with the Four of Swords being in reverse here. Maybe thinking about like, are we really kind of investing in ourselves in a sense, or just like, are we feeling challenged even in life? And I feel like it's not that people are challenging you. It's just I feel like this Five of Wands is more so of a needing to kind of push yourself a little bit, to kind of throw yourself into some problems, and or start doing some things that, again, kind of like start stimulating your mind a little bit, or something along those lines there, Gemini. If we just haven't been, because this really does feel kind of big picture, this learning thing, because for some it's like maybe it's just like maybe we've been just doing some sort of things that don't necessarily resonate with us, but it's just like, that sounds cool. It's like maybe we want to learn like 5 languages, or or something. We want to learn, let's say for example, like I don't know, what's a, like Cantonese or something along those lines. But we have no, how are we going to use that in our day-to-day lives? Are we going to be going to China anytime soon? Is that like a wish of yours, or is it something that, or maybe is there like a position that you're applying to that maybe that it's going to need that sort of that bilingual nature? I just feel like, for that aspect, I feel like that it's, if we've just been kind of accumulating things, it's just like, it feels like that there's a bunch of stuff, but none of those things are really kind of fulfilling us and kind of making us happy here. And then it's just like we'll start it for a little bit, and then maybe stop, or just like it's, just again, just I might need to get a little bit more on this Nine of Cups here, Gemini, but it's, you know, the Nine of Cups is like a card of like being a magnet. And if I feel like if we're attracting that sort of like chaotic energy, that's sort of just like piecing together all this stuff and just randomness, then that's just, it's our minds are just gonna not gonna be at ease. You know, there's not, again, there's not that focus. I feel like that's coming through there when we're thinking about like long term. How is this thing going to, is this thing really going to be worth it, you know? But I'm also kind of getting for some others that there, if we haven't been doing things to stimulate us, and if we've been feeling kind of depressed maybe even as of late, or just feeling like maybe we could should be more, we should be further along, or maybe we should have a better idea of what like what we want to do with ourselves or something along those lines. I feel like that it's like it may be something that we know that, like what we want to do is going to make us happy. Maybe this is something where we need to return to school, for example, but it's like it's going to be more conflict or more than we want to take on. But I feel like again in the long run it would be totally worth it, because then it's like the sun is within your grasp, but it's like we're choosing not to chase it just because of this conflict here. But let me get a little bit more of this Nine of Cups. I hope that makes sense, Gemini. Let me see what's going on with that. And I feel like, you know, this is a great time for you to be thinking about those kinds of things. With your ruler being retrograde right now, it's, yeah, just because retrogrades aren't just all bad. Well, I was serving up a I'm serving up a nice little plate of word salad for Virgo, but you know, where Mercury has its challenges, sure, it does have its benefits. Retrogrades are for us to kind of analyze where we're at, kind of slow down a little bit, think about our Ten of Cups, absolutely. Hold on there, Gemini. Because that's interesting. Now you're thinking about your happy home, happy family, happily ever after. We got, interesting, Gemini. That's very interesting. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, yeah, it is. So you have, okay. So you have the Nine of Cups is clarified by the Devil and the Nine of Pentacles upright, and then you have the Ten of Cups in reverse. And so maybe for some, there's something that might be kind of getting in the way of this growth, this learning process here. You know, there could be maybe some toxic, I don't know, it's like maybe for some it's like the people we may surround ourselves with, whether this is friends, family, maybe even like coworkers or something along those lines, a partner. But I feel that whatever this is, there's a need. Oh, there's a need to, with the Nine of Pentacles, this is like working towards your Empress energy there, working towards that manifesting your abundance, your dreams, and your happiness, all this stuff here. But I feel like that maybe for some it's just like we're not in an environment that's you know, supporting that growth. Or maybe we've been and this might be something where maybe it's like a past thing, where just even thinking about with the Ten of Cups, because this can be like a family card, and maybe for some there's this, maybe we weren't encouraged to follow that in the past, or maybe we were taught that it's like we need to be almost a state of just like kind of diminishing yourself in a way. And now that's kind of become ingrained in you, and it's been kind of challenging to kind of shift up that, to shift that narrative in a sense. But I don't know, a lot going on here, Gemini. But I mean, come on, to the fact to have Nine of Cups to the, Nine of Cups to the Ten of Cups, and then to have Nine of Pentacles to the Ten of Pentacles, it's, I do feel like the universe is definitely getting you to, trying to push you in this energy of learning, either to start doing some learning, or to more so focus on what we're doing, because devil energy is very tricky, because that sense of more so on the unfocused type of end of it, it's like that can, we can even be using this learning stuff as a distraction and from our maybe true cause there, because it's easier just to start something new until it gets hard and then pull back, as opposed to really kind of see things through to fruition there. Getting, it's almost, it kind of reminds me of kind of like Aries energy in the sense they're great at really starting stuff. You know, it's very very cardinal energy. We can start stuff, but then it's like getting to that fixed energy of like just solidifying that. But all right, Gemini. Little something to think about in your learning there, but very strong start. I like that. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, all right, Gemini, one of your cards here. I'm with it. So you got the fifth card of you, which is a yacht card. And with this card, this is a card of adventure, affluence, luxury, mobility, travel, great ease, smooth sailing, sophisticated, with the wind, self-indulge, prosperity, comfort, wealth, over the top, and extravagant. And the energy that's coming through here, Gemini, is the comfort. And I feel like for some that maybe we've been, it's kind of like I was saying, like where with like the devils, like maybe we, for some it's like we're afraid to kind of push ourselves out of our comfort zones a little bit. Maybe the idea of maybe this is something where it's like maybe we wanted to become like a doctor or something like that, and we need to do all this schooling, or just even something that just requires you to do any sort of like maybe learning, or maybe you need like a certification, or need to take some sort of like do some sort like amount of hours of with something, or maybe this is like you want to ride, learn to drive a yacht there, Gemini, but we have to go through the sailing classes. We got to learn all the jargon for that and the nuances of this thing. And I feel like that it's just we're just staying, for some it's just like we're staying in this comfort zone, but where it's not that it's not happy and abundant, but it's just like, is that really helping you shine as bright as you really could, Gemini? It's like, are we really pushing ourselves with, and that's even interesting there now that I'm thinking about that with the fifth card of Capricorns here. The devil is Capricorn. And Capricorns are hard workers. They're hustlers. They're the achievers of the zodiac, and there's a very tall moniker to have, or really not tall, but a very strong type of thing to be known for. And I feel, and even just thinking too, they're associated with the 10th house, which deals with like our careers and things along those lines, that how people see you. And I feel that there's a need when you think about, I'm even just kind of thinking about that, you know, um, when you think about the opposite sign of Capricorn, Cancer, that deals with more of the home space, where you're comforting things. But then, Capricorn is like you're putting yourself out there, you're achieving your goals, you're showing your skills. And again, that can be a little uncomfortable at first, but I feel like that for some it's just like if we don't push this thing, we're going to maybe regret down the line, possibly, that we hadn't. And I don't feel like it's ever too late to achieve your dreams and things, but it just gets a little trickier when when the energies have been kind of pushing you to want to do this stuff earlier here, Gemini, as opposed to doing this thing. But let's get some tarot on this. Thank you. All right, let's see. Oh, interesting. All right, so we're going to talk about that, Gemini. So you have the Three of Swords in reverse here, and then you have the interesting. You have the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, and then the Tower here. And both you and Virgo got the Towers. I just did their reading, but let's talk about the Queen of Pentacles, because when I do a pre-shuffle every time before I get into your readings, and the Queen of Pentacles popped up for you when I was doing that. And I almost feel like with this, it's just like, are we taking the most advantage of our resources here? And I feel like of more so of just like the skills that you have there, Gemini. And I feel like that with the Tower, that there is this energy of, it feels like that maybe for some there's been like, again, there's this anxiety that I'm kind of getting with the Four of Swords, that maybe we've had these kind of sleepless nights of where we've been thinking about, am I making the, am I making the most of what I've been given? Is there some ways that I can maybe shine more? And it's not necessarily that you're going out and becoming famous or anything along those lines, but it's just like, are we really feeling fulfilled? Ten of Cups here. We may have the comfort, Ten of Pentacles, but is that enough? Are we, I might need to get a little bit more with this Queen of Cups here, but I feel like maybe for some that there is this, I almost feel like that there's this almost fear with like the or excuse me, with the 10, with the Three of Swords of, it's like we feel like we might let ourselves down here or something along those lines. Now, okay, I'm kind of starting to see the connection there. It feels like that, like there's something really kind of emotional, I feel, that with whatever this thing is that's maybe been on our minds as of late, or this skill that we've been wanting to maybe try, that I I almost feel like that we might be, for some, it's like we may be worried that we could fail at this thing possibly, or that we'll never achieve this thing, or, never truly get to that fruition. So we settle on comfort instead of trying to get both the comfort and the fulfillment, or something along those. Because I feel you can have both the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles here, but let me get a little bit more with this, with the Queen of Cups here. And maybe even a little bit with the Tower here. Let's see what's going on here, Gemini. Let's start with the Queen of Cups. Let's see what's going on there. Alright, and then we get a little bit more for the Tower as well. Let's see what's going on. Because maybe even with this Tower and the Three of Swords here, it's like maybe for some it's like we've had this realization as of late. Like there's something, I feel like, that happened that made us realize that just something needed to change, that this wasn't enough, or something along those lines here, Gemini. But oh, here's hubby, Queen of Pentacles, hubby. But you got for the Tower. Let's start there. So with the Tower, you have the Two of Cups upright, and then you have the King of Pentacles in reverse. And I feel like that there's this energy of, because the King of Pentacles is a very practical figure. He can focus on the business side of things. He's all about making his coin and making sure that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying we're giving up this financial security or stability or anything along those lines, but I feel like that there are other things to consider. The Pentacles is more about just like material things and money. The Pentacles can also deal with your manifestation. It can deal with your health as well. And this isn't medical advice or anything, Gemini, but when we have those things of where we're not filling up our cups and we're not really following our true life's purpose, or where our soul is trying to fulfill, this go round while we're going through this journey, then that's what happens. Tower moments happen, like to try to push us into change. They're not necessarily, Towers are never meant to, just like with the Devil, they're not trying to keep you down, but they get us in like situations, or or sort of like, maybe the mind has been active and things have, a lot of change happens in order of us to get to where, we're on course here, so that we're really, it's like that divine guidance is what the Tower is. So I feel like Tower moments, higher self tries to keep those situations internal. For you, you know, it's those anxieties and things, those feelings that come through, those ideas where it's like, maybe something needs to change. Let me follow that. And if we don't, higher self is like, okay, let me try to do a little thing this way, a little thing this way. And it just feels like that. Let me see what's going on with the Queen of Cups. All right, so the Queen of Cups is clarified by the Four of Pentacles here. And I do feel like that there's this rigidness that's coming through here with the Four of Pentacles. There's something where we feel that I feel like a need to kind of break free a little bit, you know, because look how this person here is just kind of bound by these pentacles. You know, maybe it's just like we're bound with the idea of how something should be, what comfort looks like, but there's just more that we're at that can be tapped into, you know, really accessing that tap into like the universal bank account. It's kind of that's very interesting, Gemini. But I mean, just thinking about that too. I mean, you're the communicators of the zodiac. You know, I mean, the twins. You know that when I feel like when they're on the same page, there's like you can really communicate with the divine in a special kind of way, being a sign of duality, and that's a very special gift to have. And all right, Gemini. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Very interesting there. All right, let's get to your last card. Oh, love that. Thank you. A little more of your energy for the win here. So we have the third card of you, which is the Broken Heart card. And with this card, this is a card of heartbreak, interference, sorrow, grief, funk, sadness, mourning, distress, letdown, gloomy, hopelessness, regret, crisis, unhappy, hurt, bitter, devastated, and emotional pain. And interesting, Gemini. So a couple energies coming through here. You have the interference and the hurt here that are coming through. And that's where I feel like maybe for some, because this Three of Swords, because this card always reminds me kind of like the Three of Swords a little bit, and it feels like that there's something here where it's like we may know what is getting in the way of us not taking this action or something like that, but it's like maybe the idea of I think we're thinking in the short term how that may hurt, whether this is maybe breaking away from a group, how we were talking about, or, you know, a family, or not necessarily a family member or anything like that, but maybe just like even just changing our environments that are getting into something that is promoting more growth, or being around people who support your support your growth. Because you know this is interesting with this how the devil is, even because after the devil is the tower, and it just feels like that it's I feel like that it's like we do for I do feel like in a sense we do have this idea of what might be getting in this way here, but something about this is hurting, and we're maybe thinking about that the healing process would be too hard, or that we may never get over this thing. But I feel like with even the Three of Swords being here, it's like you can heal from this, but I feel that is something where we're going to need to start this stuff, and it may be a little painful at first to maybe take this leap, or you know, maybe this is going even against like certain traditions that we may have come to know, or something like that. But I feel like it's going to get, because this is a very abundant reading here, Gemini, with all this stuff here. But let's get some tarot on this and get some details. Alright, Gemini, last little bit here. Interesting. And how fascinating! You and Virgo got three of the queens here. They got the Queen of Cups and the Queen of and the Pentacles, but the difference is that you got the Queen of Wands here, and then you have the Page of Cups in upright, and then that's and then you have the High Priestess, and then the Star card in reverse. Or yeah, in reverse here, Gemini. And let's switch back over, because I feel that for some with this Page of Cups and Queen of Wands energy, that and this kind of makes sense too. I feel considering that Mercury is retrograding in Virgo, because that is forming a square with your sign, and I feel like that you maybe for some we have been kind of challenged in a way, but I feel that these challenges can be alleviated by following what your heart is saying here. Just like, because the Queen of Wands, see, she got this sunflower here. Sunflowers are, they point towards the sun, and the Page of Cups is a very, he follows his feelings. I feel like again, it's just like there's this, and that's interesting too. It's like that we go from the Tower to it's like we're going in order from the Devil to the Tower, and now we're at the Star card here, where it's just like more kind of healing energy, and I feel like for some it's not we're not tapping into our potential here, but it's like there's something that I feel like is getting in the way of you pursuing this stuff, because the Queen of Wands, she pursues stuff with she goes. She don't really think about it. She's the type that's just like she'll figure this stuff out as she goes. She knows that she's divinely guided and that things will work out as long as she trusts her intuition and listens to those signals that she's getting from the universe or from her higher self or however she connects to the source. And I'm even getting for some, it's just like maybe we might need even, I don't know, it's like maybe we might even need to ask for some help as far as like how to get out of a certain situation, possibly. Because it's like I feel like there's this, I'm getting this sense of freedom here that's wanting to happen with the Page of Cups and the Queen of Wands, but I don't know. It's like we're ignoring something with the High Priestess being here. There's a certain potential that's not being tapped into, or that there's this. I mean, even again, because the High Priestess is one of like kind of like rituals, and she gives me almost like this. Hmm. There's this side of you that we may be ignoring here, even Gemini. I'm not. That's interesting. Let me get a little bit more on the High Priestess. It's like we're. Yeah, let me get a little bit more on her, Gemini. Because the High Priestess is the moon, and she's represented by the moon, and she's represented by the moon, and the moon can deal with like our subconscious, our emotions, our intuition, and there's something here that because the High Priestess is clarified by the Two of Swords in reverse, and that's another card I feel like is of not trusting our intuition. It's like we're in our head about something. It's just like we know something is getting in the way, this devil moment here, of us learning more, of expanding, but it's or something that's keeping us in this comfort zone. But and this could be maybe just a way of thinking. It's just like I'm almost even getting like an Eight of Swords vibe, where we might be keeping ourselves stuck, but I feel like the High Priestess is asking you to kind of journey into this unknown here, and giving you kind of moon energy too, because after the star is the moon, and then after that's the sun. It's like we're building up towards the sun. It's just like we're not wanting to take the steps. It's like we want to skip that devil, tower, star energy, even moon energy. But in order to get to that sun and all this stuff here, we have to do, though, there's these certain steps that I feel like that are needing to be taken here. But very interesting energy, Gemini. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that there. That's a lot to think about. But yeah, and I hope that made sense. But If anything resonated with you, Gemini, give it a thumbs up. And share this if you know someone who's been, I don't know, been wanting to, I don't know, grow more, expand more. I'm even kind of getting like just Sagittarius energy, your opposite sign. There's, I feel like, Gemini's, deals with like the third house. And third house can deal with the things that we're familiar with things that we know, kind of short-term travel, just kind of, journeying around your neighborhood and things along those lines, going around the blocks and things, where Sagittarius is that expansive energy, going to a new country, going to a different state even, or something along those lines. But both of your signs are very smart, but it's just like Sagittarius could kind of benefit more from kind of focusing more on the details and finding the finer things, where it's like Gemini can be, it's like making sure that both are just needing to learn and need to grow and experience life and whatever that is there, Gemini. But oh yeah, let's share that, Gemini. And then if you haven't already, there, subscribe, hit that bell button, get notified when I release videos each week. And then last little bit, got a nice little Cancerian card, and you got our ruler there to come over to my other channel. You don't need either of these cards, but if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, come on over to my other channel, The Chariot Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. You absolutely geek out when the High Priestess pops up there. My sun sign's in Cancer, and it's a good old time there, Gemini. And all that housekeeping, it's down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here, so I can get you out of here, Gemini. And that's interesting. So you got the Fool in reverse, Uranus retrograde, because the Fool is Uranus energy. And I do feel like that there's something that it's, we're reflecting. Uranus retrograde is about that, thinking about new novel ideas of going about things, journeying. Uranus is about freedom and thinking towards the future and expansion, and there's just that energy of change, starting something new. But there's this apprehensiveness for some, or maybe there's this resistance to do that, or again, maybe there's an interference. Someone maybe just like, not necessarily like physically stopping, like, no, you can't do anything, maybe, and if that's the case, we might need to figure something out. Definitely figure something out with that. But I don't know, there's I feel like there's a need to kind of shine here, Gemini. But let me get your oracle card here, so I can get you out of here. Thank you. Let's see what's going on here, Gemini. Alright, Gemini, so you got the 10th card here, which is the Unfinished Symphony. And that's interesting there, Gemini, because it's like, I feel like it's sort of like where I was talking about for some, and we were talking about Aries energy or cardinal energy. And that's interesting too, because for me, the queens represent the cardinal signs. You got Capricorn, Queen of Pentacles, Aries, Queen of Wands, and Cancer, Queen of Cups. And I feel like for some, there is this need to, it's like we're starting up things, but we're not seeing them through. Maybe things are getting too difficult, and that might be the interference that's coming through. Maybe we're, I don't know, it's like what that would be. It's like, as far as like if we're afraid to, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, it's almost like this energy of like afraid of proving that we can finish something, or that's one energy that's coming through. But I do feel like in general, there's something here that's, that's wanting to be started, or to be, to, it's like imagining if Beethoven never wrote any of his symphonies, or if like, pick a famous author, because I'm blanking right now, who never finished any sort of books or things. It's just like, never really seeing that sunshine, or really getting to, or get to experience it, even if no one is seeing that. You even experiencing that. it's just like I don't. It's like I don't know. It's like if we're afraid of what we're capable of, or that it may be so, and maybe it's just like maybe because then I feel that maybe if and take this as it resonates. I hope you understand what I mean, but it's like maybe we're afraid to see these things through because maybe for the longest time we've told ourselves that we couldn't. And then when we get something there, we may reflect on the times that we could have done more. Maybe we could have delivered more and been doing these things. But Gemini, everything that's happened up until this point, it happens in divine time. It happens for a reason. So, oh, I'm making your stuff kind of long here, Gemini. So let me go ahead and wrap this up here. But yeah, you stay safe out there, Gemini. Thinking about this, because I do. I feel like you got something. I don't know, something more that I feel like we can get from life here. You raise your vibration through the roof, and this might be, again, stepping out of your comfort zone, or dealing with whatever this is that might be getting in the way here, Gemini. But and I will catch you on the next one. Later.